Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Meet the Members series at Your Third Base. My name is Bella. I'm the social media manager, and I'm here today with David Robinson from Goosehead Insurance. So it's great to have you, David.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. So the purpose of this series is for us to get to know our members and continue to build the community that we have growing here in Maplewood and in Ridgewood now, since we have our second location open. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Goosehead Insurance?
Sure. I have been in the insurance business for 34 years now.
Wow.
And so I've been with different companies, and I joined Goosehead about 4 years ago because they've really found a better way to deliver quality insurance to the customer and offer a much wider choice of carriers than it's available really almost anywhere else.
And is there a certain type of insurance you specialize in?
Yes, we focus on homeowners and auto insurance, primarily for first-time home buyers. There are a lot of our customers, but we also work with real estate investors as well. And we also offer flood insurance, liability insurance, and what in the industry we call insurance for toys. So motorcycles, snowmobiles, boats, that kind of thing.
Very nice. In the toy category, that sounds so interesting to me. Has there ever been something really interesting there?
Well, some collector vehicles, which are kind of fun. One of the things we do insure is collectibles, because certain valuable items just aren't normally covered on a homeowner's insurance policy. So, for example, I have someone with a Pokemon card collection worth like $10,000.
Oh, wow.
Another person with a Steinway grand piano in their house, that really has to be insured separately. Autographed baseball collection, those types of things.
Yeah.
Those are kind of fun.
Yeah. So how would you know that something needs to be insured? Like the Pokemon cards is really interesting because I would never know you'd have to insure Pokemon cards. So what would make someone come to you about that?
When I'm speaking with someone about their insurance, I always ask them if they have any collectibles. Or another thing that has limited coverage on a homeowner's policy is jewelry, which we will insure separately. So I always ask about jewelry, watches, furs, silverware, collectibles, artwork, those kind of things. Okay. Because our focus is really to make sure that people have the proper coverage.
For first-time home buyer, what would you say is the most important thing to consider when choosing insurance?
To make sure that they have the proper protection, that they understand what's covered on a homeowner's policy, and perhaps more importantly, what's not normally covered. And one of the things that comes up a lot in our area is water damage due to flooding, which is water coming in from the outside, or water backing up inside their basement, which is a different coverage, and it's also not normally included in homeowners insurance. We're seeing more and more water damage claims caused by flash floods due to heavy rains, because just statistically, we're seeing the frequency and severity of major storms are both increasing. Traditionally, people might think of flood insurance as something that they would need for a coastal property. But nowadays, I mean, anywhere it rains, you can get flooding. And we want to make sure that folks know about those risks so that they can make an informed decision and properly protect what for a lot of folks is their largest single investment.
Yes.
People don't think about that.
Definitely. So if any first-time homebuyers are listening, definitely take David's advice and make sure that you're checking into your flood insurance as well. Now that you have an office with us at Your Third Base, what made you decide to come and work here?
Well, a couple of things stood out. One is my agency is growing. We have a very high volume of business. I have 2 new agents currently onboarding now. And Your Third Base is a perfect place for me for expansion because there's multiple size offices here. So I can add agents without having to move, which is very valuable to me. The insurance market right now is difficult for a lot of insurance carriers. We're seeing a lot of rate increases. So a lot of people want to shop and see if they can get good coverage at a better rate.
How has it been working for you? You've been here for a couple weeks now, right?
Yeah, I'm very new here. I love it. I love that we have the cafe attached to the office, so I can have an informal meeting with folks right here, or we can have the conference rooms as well if we have a larger group. So it's great, and it's also very convenient for me because I live here in Maplewood.
Right.
So it's a very short commute.
Yeah, that's always nice. We want to cut that commute down for sure. And it helps that you don't have to stop at a different coffee shop on your way here. You can just get it right when you come in.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
All right. So what advice do you have, since you are the agency owner, what advice would you have for other local business owners, maybe in this area or even outside of this area?
In terms of insurance or in terms of office space? Because I also write small business insurance.
Oh, well, let's talk about that a little bit then.
Well, one of the pitfalls for small business owners is very often they don't realize that the state requirements for workers' compensation insurance when they have an employee, and especially if it's quote, a 1099 or an independent contractor employee, because the definition of employee for tax purposes is very different than it is for insurance purposes. So we don't want to end up having a situation where an employee needs to be covered with workers' comp and the employer is not aware of that fact.
Right.
Because the state of New Jersey is very diligent in actually aggressively searching for companies that have employees and they don't have workers' comp, and the fines are very stiff. So that's one of the things we advise small business owners about, is to just make sure that they're following the workers' compensation requirements.
I didn't know that, so that's a really good piece of advice to
A
know.
lot of business owners don't realize that.
Yeah,
How would someone know who's growing a small business?
of course. Right. So if we have any small business owners out there who need to get in contact with you after listening to this episode, how would they reach you?
They can call, they can email, they can go on our website. We also have, one of the things that Goosehead has is we have a cutting-edge digital rater, where if people want to get a quick quote comparison, they can go on our website, and it takes about 2 minutes, and they'll get probably the top half dozen or so carriers in our area. So if folks are, let's say, for example, shopping for a home, or they had a big rate increase, they can do a quick search and see, well, how do these rates compare with what else is available in the market.
Great. Well, that's perfect. And we'll make sure that all your information is in the description of the interview so that people can reach out and find you.
Great. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming today. It was great talking to you.
Well, same here.
Bye-bye, everyone.
This episode of the Meet the Members series was filmed in the Your Third Base podcast studio in Maplewood, New Jersey. If you'd like to learn more about our offerings, including our co-working space, private offices, and bookable spaces like the podcast room, please visit our website, yourthirdbase.com. Thank you again to David for being our guest this week, and stay tuned for more episodes coming soon.